was one of my other computers on. His brother talking about, the Umar situation. I'm not going to talk about that tonight. But I want to talk about this YouTuber, and it's been on my mind last night. And she's a very popular YouTuber, and you probably heard of her. Her name is Cyn G. And I watched her videos in the past, and I've never really, never really followed her. But every time you see it up on, you see, on the YouTube feed, you see a lot of different people. And one of the things she was making a comment about was she was making a comment about two celebrities that were divorcing. One was Lindsay Lohan and her husband PK Silver. The other one was Tyree and his wife. And I heard it from, and I've seen people make other relationship shows and things like that. My question is, how does a woman, particularly a black woman, one of the few that I see, dwells on black men by trying to analyze them and say that there's something wrong with them or something wrong with this relationship? And it's simply that every man has his own choice, whether he's successful, whether he's not. I don't just seem to understand that it's silly. I mean, it'd be just as wrong if it was a black man sitting up there and always critiquing, making about almost over 100 some videos about messed up how some black women are about picking white men. And I just, trying to break down an analogy. Everybody have their own reason for interracial dating and interracial marriage. Whether they're successful, whether they're millionaires and billionaires, or just a common Joe Blow. In the reality of the world, not everybody who's black is going to agree with someone who's black. Is going to stick with someone who's black. And it could be various reasons. Because you live in an environment, and depends on yourself as an individual and what environment you live in. If you're a black man or black woman that was raised in the predominantly white environment, that's your environment. It's just as common sense. And so you attract, and so if your spouse happens to be white or another race, that's what it is. And now I understand that there's a lot of racism going on between, and it's not so much, it's about individuals in law enforcement that have something against black people. And there's some individuals, and there's a few individuals that do. But not every, it don't affect most interracial couples. They really don't. They don't let it bother them. And realistically, people choose who they want to choose. If a black woman dates a married white man, I'm not going to get upset. Why would I get upset when there's so much to have a relationship with somebody? And there's some things that some people feel that they have other things in common with this person other than the color of their skin. Some people can look past that. And in other words, I don't see why someone can keep making an opposition of, making, just because you see some interracial couples having a bad time. Like any other couple have have problems, whether they're two white people or two black people, and that they break it up just as well, or Asian people or Hispanic people. I mean, sometimes some people just don't line up, and so this is the first time I ever did a video concerning this woman, but it's like I don't understand. I don't get it. It's like, and then when I heard her commentary, it's like she's kind of pulling down and making some black men that they're immature or there's got to be some motive. No, it's just that it's already been in it. Like it's been in some black women that date different and marry different men, and whatever reason that they marry, whatever reason that person is attracted to someone of a different race, they have their own issues and problems, and they're able to work it out. And then another thing too is the reason why some people get together is because basically it really deals with logic and it deals with spirituality. I mean, and then it's perception, what you've been raised and what you've been around. If you give this perspective, if you live in some place like Colorado or some place like that, and you went to a mostly integrated school, and you went to an integrated church, and your friends is going to have different range of friends. Then you look on TV, you see people interacting the same way. And so whether you see that white person is attractive, and I heard what this one guy was saying, King, he's a black dude. We all know, when it comes according to TV, always the white man and the white female has been put on a certain pedestal, and they've been put on a pedestal to some certain degree. So that doesn't mean that they have insecurity. Some people do, and some people get together for all the wrong reasons, and then some people get together for all the right reasons. One of the reasons is just that some people don't see color. They just see what they used to seeing on TV, what they want, and maybe it was an image that was off of TV. I mean, we grew up. I mean, every boy in America liked the Wonder Woman or like Charlie's Angels, and so it kicked off from there. And then, so when you live into an interracial environment, that sometimes you see what TV program you to see. It's probably the same way with some black girls when she see a guy like a Superman and how he comes the same and provide and in a certain class, that black female is attracted just like the other female is attracted to that white male, and it could be a reason, but everybody has their own choice. But I just don't understand how some people make a big deal out of it. Celebrities, interracially, same-race couples, marry and divorce all the time, break up in dating relationships all the time. There's no difference. There's not much of a difference. Sometimes some people you click with, and some people you don't. I have a good friend of mine. He's white, and even though his wife and his kids is white, they somehow they were together for 25, 30 years. Things didn't seem to work out. He was living out in Kansas, where he moved out there, and the reason why is because his wife didn't really respect him as a male figure in the household. When it comes to raising kids and certain things like that. And he told me this, but he he was always the kind of person who always admired black people. There's certain people that admire. So I kind of, and he used to tell me about some of the women that were Africa, how good looking they are, and some black women, good looking they are. And so, surprisingly, it was not surprising. His girlfriend now, who was younger than him, she's black. And where they live at, right now he don't have a really good paying job out there. They live in a small western town. But I think it comes down to the connection with somebody. And so, whatever her story is, why she found him attractive, it could be the environment. Again, you have to look at church. That starts with spirituality. When you live in an integrated community, an integrated church, you go to integrated school, you in an integrated workplace. So some people feel like it's cool, and some people don't care. I mean, especially now, there's some people in this generation that don't care. Some of the younger people do, and they did. And so that's one of the reasons right there. Two, is that it's a choice, and there's the black men that probably, for example, that go with the white women, is that they never had, maybe the women black women that they had before, they never clicked. Just like my friend who was white with his wife. You know, you could be married to somebody and not really be happy with them, because it could be a lack of communication, it could be a falling out or anything. And then you have some black women who expect to be at a certain level, from what I've heard and from what I've experienced. If they're educated, they want you to be educated. If you six figure, they want you to be six figure, and they want to live a certain lifestyle. And then not only that they want you to be educated as a six figure, you got some black women like that. They expect you to be, cook your own meals and do your own thing, and she do your own thing, and don't tell them what to do, and don't have to consider it. They just live freely, even though you give them your time and invest into a relationship. So, and there's some women that are just like how some black men are. They're players. They play men a different way. They find the nice ones that they do, and the nice ones that kind of play along to the side, and then give the men who so-called got this masculinity thing, and come off abrasive and aggressive. But really, in the long run, what is the long term? Is he having a future? Is he trying to establish a plan? So you have to look at that. Some black women pick guys that been locked up in jail, and anybody can probably know this. And some women thinking that he's going to change. And some men do change, but some men don't change. Some black men don't change. They still be doing the same thing that they was 30, 40 years ago, running streets and thinking that they're trying to hold down the block. I've seen 50, 60-year-old men do this. My mother was married to a man like this. So what happened? So my question is like, okay, if you see the black men, enjoy going after other women, maybe it's that some of them black women told them that they were too geeky, they were too lame. So if you geeky and lame and not fit a certain type or appearance, you're gonna spread your options in different places. And so when you do get some kind of successful thing going on, whether you get a little job, make a little money, you're gonna find other women who are maybe go over to another part of the continent, maybe go to Asia, go to Africa, and what that the women have a certain value system that they looking for men. It don't have to be all that. And this is what I've heard from black men that have been over there, that couldn't really couldn't find someone to be that companion here. And it's just that, and the reason why I think some black men do is that they want a woman that want. I think there's with some, you have some black men are mature and you have some black men are not mature. But the ones that mature and are ready to settle down, and maybe they're trying to get to a point so they be able to support a wife and kids, they don't get a break. They get passed over. There's been good men out there that other black men I've seen in good jobs that they don't get catered to, they don't get appreciated to, and so they go with other women. So that's why. And so the ones and as far as the ones in the NBA and the NBL, NBA and NFL, whatever, again, look at the environment that they're in. And not all black men gonna go mess around with different women. Some might play the field for a while, but when they find a good woman, she gonna have her head straight on. Whether she a black woman, whether she's a Hispanic woman, and she's known to be kind of in a way submissive. Now, submissive means staying in agreement. Doesn't mean be controlling somebody. So, and really, a woman that wants to give herself in many ways, as far as that backbone support. There's some men that would appreciate. There's some black men that want to be appreciated, and that's what some black men want. And whether he's making six figures, or he's a multi-billionaire, or he's just a plain young blow on the block, he deserves the same kind of respect. He deserves the same kind of reference, and he has the options. So, but what is the point in trying to make these men who choose to do that, try to make them seem like they immature? What is the gain out of it? I guess I would probably want to ask one of these black women who make the video, what do you kind of gain? What do you gain out of trying to expose? That you talk so bad about black men. You call them lame, dusty. You say that with the same black men, you run over to their platform. Why? If we all that and we ain't built nothing, then you go over and deal with the Connors and the Brads or the Ahibs. Go ahead and deal with them. I don't get it. But why beat down black men? And I mean, it's the same way. I don't agree with some black men beat down black women. Like the one time, I can understand why the one woman from Precious, she found her fiance, and there was some guys there was a few people that dragged her through it. And I thought, I was agreeing with some people like, who cares, dude? I mean, she's probably already been attracted to white guys. She's probably always. And there's a lot of black women like that. Well, for whatever reason, that's just their taste. And so she got her fiance is white. Some people got the hissy fit about it, but she's not down and putting down black men, and because that was just her choice. I just don't see what's the big deal. And I wouldn't dare talk about her and say, da-da-da. What's she doing with that white male and all that stuff like that? Who cares, dude? I mean, you have black people on social media that live in an unrealistic world. Not everybody that is in your skin is going to be with someone in the same skin. And it's just because if you live in a place like America and Western Europe, you've been integrated into a whole different culture. Unless you live in a place, in some place where Africa was nothing, nothing but you see people that look like you. Majority of people look like you, who you marry, who you date, who you interact with, you do business with. That's the way it is. But in America, in Canada and a few other places, it's different because the kind of cultures and environment that carries you in different places. So your options are more. And for the black men that do, there's some black men who are husbands just like this, some good black women in America that are wives that are getting themselves right to get their mate. But I think from a male perspective, it's just that I think black men don't feel appreciated. So that's why they go other places. And are there some black men who are out there that are immature? Yes, there are. There's some that's still never grown up to be a man. They still have boyish ways, even though they're in a grown man's body. They're all about themselves and self-centered. And it's just some of us have been down that road. When I think time and age changes you with your perspective, because when you start getting older, you don't see things clearly when you're at a certain point in your life until you get by yourself and stay by yourself for a long period of time and examine yourself as a person, whether you're a man or woman. Then you start seeing a whole different outlook. And then spiritually, you got it. That's the number one thing. Get a relationship with what I call the Most High God. You can't see a point all these things out with you. If you want to have a particular woman of any race, and if you're a black man, there's probably a black woman getting herself lined up. There are black men getting themselves lined up, and the reason getting themselves mentally lined up. But the reason what they do is and most people kind of put it down. They go to church, and church teaches you responsibility, grow you up spiritually, and then you have the pastors. If you got the right church, teach you responsibility. And if you're a man and you're a woman and you got some immaturity issues spiritually that's manifesting seem kind of immature, the only one that can change that is God Himself. And no matter what age you are as a male, whether you're 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, God has to point that out. And then as a man, you change. But when God does something, whether He do it in the man or whether He do it in the woman, it's not degrading. No one has to throw it in your past and say that, because if a man is immature, I'd rather have God correct me than man to correct me, because you can wound somebody with words, whether you're male or female. You might do much worse and make them really bitter. And it's the same thing goes on with the woman. But the reason why they get that black men who are mature, who look for relationships with different women, who want a relationship with different women, is because they're looking for a woman just like any other male. Was a white male, a Middle Eastern male, a man who's ready to take me as I am. And even if they get, there's some people that have everything and still have immature ways too. There are men, not just black men. There's white men and other men that have immature flaws. That that are very immature, boyish in some ways. For example, maybe it's the way they express themselves. Maybe they're not too tidy up on their hygiene. Could be something or organized. Some men and women are like that. Or disciplined about time, trying to be be on time and things like that. But I rather have, if these are the issues, I rather have God show me than have some man trying to embarrass me or a woman trying to embarrass me to do, because as it gives me as an individual person that whatever's in what I did yesterday is just yesterday. It doesn't apply to being a man today. See, when you live like, you have to understand and see the whole picture. And as a male, as a man, I've done some immature things, you know, and it took with me and some men is that it took mature. Sometimes it takes a certain level of maturity. It takes life experiences. But you do have some men who are close to my age or immature. That's true. There's only got some women who are immature and basically they self-centered. But I would say this to the Cyn G's and other ones out there. Why don't you be happy with the man that you have? Stop focusing on the man that you can't have. Why don't you attract the man that you have? Then maybe and find that man who is a cookie that can maybe that change, they turn around, that got that male aggressive and energy. But at least he's making money the right way. At least he's responsible the right way. At least he take care of his kids the right way. But there's black men out there like that. And we, like, there's different characteristics of black women. There are different characteristics of black men. And we're putting a certain percentage of black, this is wrong to put a label, a whole percentage of black women is dysfunctional and this and that and materialistic, because I know that's not true. In the same way, I think someone should see black men, because right now, when it comes to the issue with race, as you see, even though there's been black women have died mysteriously at the hands of different circumstances, but black men are dying at a greater circumstances. And you need to put down the division. I just don't understand. But I just wanted to make a video about this because I see this woman making a video of like, what is the big deal? And why are you pointing out these people's flaws? Because the spouse that they pick, this male, you know, this incompetent, incomplete male, and black men are this and black men are that. It's like, the reason, but you never hear the other side of the story. Maybe those black men was at some point in time they didn't have things, or maybe the women that, in 9 chances out of 10, they were probably black women that didn't give them time of day. And there's some black women feel like, will tell you, well, I don't think you could protect me. I don't see that aggressiveness. Like, if we ever in a fight, I don't think you can even protect me. I want to see you act out your character to see, you know, like, well, okay, now you're aggressive alpha male. You have some females that are like that. And you don't know what every man, just because a man don't respond to something right away, it depends on how he responds to it. But if you don't acting crazy in that hood and we're ready to shoot somebody and fight somebody, ready to jump on somebody, try to get killed, what does that prove? Does it prove at the same time? So I don't know. I just think it's silly myself, and it would be just as wrong if I sit up there and pointing out why is all these black females dating all these white males or other males? Why are they going after other males? Because number one, it's already been in him to be attracted to the white males. Just like the same with the black male. There have always been black men and women that are always attracted of different races. And this is what you have to understand, that they've always been like that. Even if there's some black people that never been around white people until they go into an interracial environment and they get to talking with the person. Then all of a sudden they click. Maybe they go to a different part of the world, or they go to school and things like that. They click, and and they were there at the beginning. And if they don't, some people grow differently. Whether they're an interracial couple or a same race couple, they have the same issues. Sometimes some people might see life in two different forms. Just like with Lindsey Vonn and her husband, PK Stubborn. Obviously, they see life from two different forms. And I don't think it had any. I just think that maybe it could be her, it could be him. Maybe she's not ready to hold down a relationship right now. And the same thing with Tyrese and he has to take some time out, like some women do, and figure out what do you really want. Even if they have things, what do you really want your spouse to be, the next person in your life? Because who wants to keep jumping from one person to another person to another person, and you gotta go through all this again? It's one thing if someone, if it was the right way, where one of you died, then the next person moved on. That's one thing, because it's not cool to keep dating all these, laying up and laying down with all these different people, because you pick it up, and if you have to lay down with some of the people, you pick it up whenever's in their spirit, and it's changing, it's manifesting, changing you and your mindset. And another thing is, I'm ever blessed with whatever woman that God chooses and put in my path. If she's a black woman, she's a black woman. If she's not, she's not. But it's because I waited and I matured in my time to get this woman. And I think that some people, even with money, even with clout, some people are not ready. Even if and look at your athletes. Some of them are not ready because they're young, they still find themselves, and that's just typical how some young men are, regardless of race, color, creed. Same with some young females. And some want to settle down, some don't want to settle down, because it takes a certain type of person who want to be in a relationship and start a family with. But I just don't. That's what I know I sound like I'm all over the place. Hopefully I don't sound like that, but I just don't understand why, as a person, we keep making that an issue. What's the big deal? What is, you see an interracial couple that don't work out, like a same race couple. What's the big deal? I mean, I see it all the time. And so some people that's click, there's some people that don't click. And it's interracial couples that, they'll do your part, and they might be far in humanity that we know about. But I feel that everybody have their own choice, and they know when that man and that woman get together in that relationship, they know what the obstacles is, and if they're strong enough and some interracial couples are strong enough to overcome those obstacles. Believe it or not, they don't let it, whatever goes on in the world, they don't let them affect their own life like the rest of us in this world do. And it's the same thing probably with some gay couples, I imagine. They don't let things affect their own household, why should it come between them? even though we just live in a nasty world, and then some people are just straight up nasty. That's what it is. But I just don't see why people make a big deal about it. Please explain to me. And what is the goal in tearing down black men who choose? Because not every black man wants to pick a black wife. What is the goal? What is or every black woman want to pick a black husband? What is the point? I mean, just it's realistically, we live in the United States of America, and it depends on what part of the United States, what demographic of people you live around, area, your environment. Look here, come to us as a black people, and spiritually, you went to a church. Some of us went to a church, and some of you brothers pointed this out. That's true. You see the image of white Jesus around Christmas and Easter. You have Santa Claus, and it's white. You have these superheroes like Superman and Spider-Man. And when you was a young boy, all boys that seen it were majority white. Probably when black girls seen a white dude like a James Bond, whatever, they find him attractive. So it's spiritually, which is the holidays, what did to you mentally, then you see it on the screen. So you see this all your life, and then you in an environment, whether you're at church, you could be at an integrated church where it's black, white, and other people. Then you at school, you in some kind of job when you integrated with people. So when you around a lot of integrated people, you're gonna pick the person in an integrated environment with. Because your bill collector, your landlord is white, your bill pay is white. I mean, and so that's all you see, and that's all your kids see, and it's the truth. So black people have already been conditioned. Some of us has already been conditioned to be in those integrated environments. That's why you end up with the women that you do, because even though there's different circumstances as far as with how America as a whole see, but it's the environment. And when you go to the dance clubs, you go to the parties and restaurants, and they're integrated. So as long as you're integrated environment, you're gonna see interracial couples, black men going after black women. I mean, white women and other women. Black women going after the same thing. So I don't understand why some people will make a whole time trying to show dysfunction in something and think that, okay, you pro-black, be that. But we also be mature that not every black person is going to agree with you. Be mature enough to know that that African, and as I said, was African, is going to agree with another African because of the tribalism and the area where they come from, and the language, the culture, and everything else. So when you raise and you raise your kids in some place like Maine or Minnesota, naturally you're going, one of your kids going to end up in an interracial relationship. Or in Washington State or Colorado, you're going to be in an interracial environment. I mean, this woman should know that, because from what I heard, she lives out in Washington State. And then you know, if it's in your family, it's because the majority of people in that state is white. So 9 chances out of 10, you're going to probably be someone black going to be in a relationship, and it's through sports and schooling and things like that. So what I'm saying is, what is the big deal? Why do people, grown people, men and women, listen, I'm a black man, as long as I have whatever my spouse, if she black, why do I have to be put down someone else if a black woman or a black man and they in an interracial relationship? Why do I have to, what difference does that make? I have to use common sense enough to know the history of this country. And one, we've always been divided up. The colorism thing, black people been divided up by regions, north to south, even though we've been lynched, discriminated and everything. You've been divided up by rural, city, country, suburb. So whatever your environment is, that's the environment you at. So you talk a certain way, you express yourself a certain way. Not everybody who's black talk the same way. They're different because where you speak, if someone from Georgia is different from a black person from New York, or a black person from Ohio is different from a black person. You can tell by the background, the environment, and where they raised. So is that, and I see that among, as far as black people, I see that with us. It's like you got to kind of grow up out of that. Seriously, for some people, you need to kind of grow up out of that and realize just because someone is in your skin color ain't your kinfolk, and you have to see something different. I mean, you got black people that listen to country music that they like rock in different places. Why? Because that's an environment that they're in. That's what kind of environment. But you tell some black people that's like, hey, that's kind of messed. They're trying to be white. No, they're not trying to be white. It's just that's the environment they live in. You have to understand that. Yeah, there is a sense of discrimination, but when you raise into a different environment, and when you're not really around majority of your people, and your grandparents take you to, or your parents take you to the part of the country where it's 10% of you and 90% of white people and other people, you're going to pick up whatever environment that is. And so therefore, the person you're involved with as a mate is going to be of that different race. Unless you go out in the country and find someone of a different, when you go to Africa, the Caribbean, or Latin America to find someone that look like you have to learn the culture, you have to learn the language. Then hope, that excuse me. And then you have to go to the point, you got some black people, we see black people somewhere else, you got black people and say, well, they ain't from the same block we is. You got to deal with that immaturity part of it, because they never been out the country. And say, ooh, and they might think that they got stereotype. So we got other people. Some of us do stereotype other black people, because we like talking about other people. Some of the way someone look, the way someone talk, and so hey, because they don't meet your perspective. They ain't from your hood. They don't express the way you do, talk like out of a rap video. I mean, if you don't like basketball and football and like rap music, something must be wrong with you. You got some black people that think like that. I mean, it's crazy that we perceive our own self, and you have to kind of figure out when you go into an environment. And anybody listening to me would agree with this. Whatever environment you pick up that environment. If I'm in the suburb and I'm raised in the suburb all my life, and I was raised in the predominantly white church. I was raised around a predominantly white school. My way of expression, my way of talking is going to be different. And then don't be surprised that my girlfriend is going to be white. I mean, this is because, and then it's programmed in my spirit because of the holidays, and then we celebrate the holidays together, Christmas, whatever, Valentine's Day. Those are, from a spiritual aspect, that's those people are Hebrew, that, or black conscious, that's pagan holidays. For example, this past holiday, Christmas, even though that it's funny that Christmas was never, I learned this just recently, it wasn't celebrated in early America until like the late 19th century, going to the 20th century. That's when Christmas was celebrated here. And then when you see the origin of Christmas, it was basically out of Europe. It came from people that long celebrated, and that go way back to the ancient times of Greek and Romania, and it went over into Europe and journeyed with St. Nicholas and things. So, and then next thing you know, the symbolism of the trees, the mistletoes, the wreath. So that was the people of that time. And so people who from Europe, that some that came over here from America, that's their ancestors, and who were, some are Caucasian. That they just going about. Then we picked up. So that's why we're integrated with Christmas. We integrated with Easter. And so what does that mean? You integrated. You have the same thing in common, but you going up under a European holiday, and it's that's in the black community and the black church as well as the other churches. In some of our families, black people have, and some of these pro-blacks and some of these other people got to get realistically. Unless you decide to really technically separate yourself, you're always going to be in an integrated environment. Until you start seeing yourself on an equal basis, majority of black people are always going to be subjugated, or just be talking, just to be discussing about things like, we gotta come together and blah 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 and da da da. But it's kind of hard for a place like where I live at, because it's integrated all over. I'm the one who says that it's integrated. And it's not so much a black community, it's a impoverished community. Now, in some areas of the country, maybe Baltimore, maybe different parts of, South, that there's still black on one side, white on the other side. But in whatever little black community that they did, they dissipated it. And that came from your upper echelon blacks to do with Democratic. So now you mix in with the poor whites, and you mix in with the poor immigrants. So therefore, it's not a black community anymore, it's a impoverished community. And so out of that impoverished community, you integrated with people. Because you got the same thing common with the people who have things. So there's a sense of integration there. So that's why you see some, getting back to it, that's why some black men, why they be dating them big old Beckys or whatever. Because that's the kind of, depends on the income, the atmosphere, the environment they live in, that's what they pick. If you live on it, like the side town I live on is mostly white, and it's a small percentage of black. So every once in a while you see some mixed kids and interracial couples. I mean, Columbus, Ohio is one, but it's changing. You see black men, but now you start to see black women with white men too. And like if you do in other cities, they're catching up. And people some people just have to realize that not everybody who looks like you gonna agree with you. And don't be surprised when you see black people, and it's in a predominantly white town, and they pick up the same kind of demeanor as the white people. They're kind of looking at you like, oh my God. You're going to come across people like that because they picked up their spirit. It's all spiritual too. And you can't, and as a black man or black, you can't figure that out because you've been around a mostly black environment. I mean, it depends on like, for me, my family, I came from Cleveland, and it's different from my father's side of the family. And my father's side of the family, you know, anybody know Cleveland at one time, different sections, you know, is a majority black section in different areas. And then you go to like, next to black section, you got a middle class, blacks and then whites and things like that. And then it depends on the demographic and the neighborhood. It's like that. Well, and then my grandparents were raised in a Pentecostal Black Baptist church. My mother, who raised me, on the other hand, raised me in raised in a Catholic environment. So that was a different collision of things right there. But when I was raised in an integrated environment, I went to integrated school. And I went to, so naturally, when I turned old, I've dated black women and I dated other white women. Well, how is that? Because it was the environment I was in. Even though that there's prejudice and racism that it was in Youngstown just as well as Cleveland, just as well as here in Cincinnati. But it's just that some people don't let that affect them. That they do. They don't dwell on it all the time. And so that's what it is. So that's why some black men, what I'm saying is that's why some black men are with other women, or they have attract, because you program from TV, you were raised the same way with the black girl. It was seem like whatever white dude is attractive and handsome towards them, they like almost like they have a crush on. It's natural. Anyway, that's already been in them. They all, if them black men that like those other women, when they white women, they've been like that. They've been like that. It's not like they. And some black men have never been with any other woman. They just now, and the reason why they just now are getting with the other women, because maybe the women that they come across that were black, and I'm tell you this too, is because they never gave them no respect. They never got treated. They've been appreciated as a man. They've been told that you're second and third class. And maybe with this other woman, you first class. And you don't have to carry yourself a certain way. And get to know you as a person. Not what is perceived that I got to put on something for you to gain, because if I come off too nice or too this, then I must be soft. And so you don't have to go overboard. Well, maybe that's why some black men go to the Philippines. Maybe that's why, just like any other men do, like white men and other men, because they're told that you old, you out of shape, you got something going physically. I'm not attracted. So what are the men who are someone don't find attractive? What they supposed to do? It's like the women who are some men don't find attractive. What they supposed to do? So they try other races of people. Look, this happened to me personally. This happened to me a couple of years ago, and I was dating this really fine, attractive black female. I just went on a date with her. I met her through the chat line, right? And we just all she wanted to do was conversate over the phone. So I'm trying to get to know her, but she let down. But finally, it was only fair because she didn't have to commit to me and I had to commit to her. But what she showed me was that I asked her, why don't come over and we talk face to face. She always gave me some doggone excuse. She simply wasn't attracted to me, but yet she want me to hear her stories about some other guy she dated. Why don't want? And I mean, she was attractive, short. She had the perfect body, hair, and she had, I think she had a daughter too. But she felt like I guess I wasn't really what she expected. And finally, until I got her in the minute, she said, "Well, really, I'm looking for a dude making $22 an hour." Okay, I didn't get mad. That's okay. That's why we're not talking. That's why you blew me off. Okay, then I'll go talk to this other woman who's white, who give me her time and give me the attention and give me her time and attention. But you got some women, and it's not that it's so. You might be attractive, but hey, once the attractiveness is over, what do you have a giving heart? Do you have a giving relationship? And some women is just as bad as some men. They don't want to give themselves. And you be like, damn, why is she so, but she's fine though, because she won't give up her time. Just like that man don't want to give up his time. They've been told, see what it is that some people been told that they're good looking, they're gorgeous, oh, you a queen, and it pumped their head up to the point that, so they start take like, well, I don't need to be in your presence. Okay, well, I'll go on someone else who will appreciate what I can give them, not their time. Why should I waste my time with you? Time with you when you don't want to make time with me? And I've been with several women that were like that. And I'm not saying I didn't have no issues with some white women, but the women, some that were white, they made time for me. So that's why I dated some white women, because we got to know each other and have a click and conversation, everything. And white was able to invite me over and just treat me as an individual. Not as, well, you don't meet my stereotype, you don't meet my thuggish type, you don't meet my baller type. So what I'm saying, what are black men supposed to do? The ones that don't meet to your criteria, don't meet your 6 foot tall, 6-figure income. What the rest of us supposed to do? Wait until you pop out a lot of babies, then you want to bitch and complain because you can't. But you had a man, and then I feel women like this, they get a man, but they make a silly decision because they fall for his lines. They fall for this particular man's lines. He got 4 or 5, 6 baby mamas, and you become the 7 to 8 baby mama. But yeah, he's an alpha male. But maybe he displays some alpha male. But what I would figure that a normal relationship would be wise to have one person to give all your time and attention to, that you could tolerate them, they could tolerate you. Because it's not really meant for you to be with 100 damn different people and keep dating. It's because sometimes if you're a good looking person and you can't, it's something probably wrong with you. If you can't keep a man if you're a woman, it's most likely it's you. You got too high up an expectation. He got to have a college degree. Okay, got the college degree. Well, he got to be making. Okay, he's making good money. Well, he got to show me a crazy point. So he's almost like got to be bipolar. I mean, not to pick at people that got symptoms. Women is okay. You got to flip on me. The next for me to, and the next thing you know, she cooking you cheese because you probably about to slap your teeth down your throat. You got women that like this. You got some women that think that that's what a relationship is. But maybe some guys who they want peace in their life, and if they have issues in a relationship, they don't want all of that drama. They don't want the cops coming out, fighting and arguing over something, getting them fighting and turning into a Pookie Ray Ray situation. But you got some crazy ass women who like that. They like that kind of situation. And some of us black men don't want to deal with that, because when you get to a certain time and age, you ain't trying to get your health get at risk, getting hyper and getting mad. You could be on your way to having a damn stroke because because I don't meet your criteria. Now you have to bring it out of me to the point that now I can't hold back my anger. And you got some black people get off their rocks of that. This is the truth. You got some black women that will push a man to that point. That's the truth. And it's finally when the man almost like he about to lose everything, says, "F this, I'm going over where the woman, I don't have to be so aggressiveness. She would set me and understand that I'm the male figure, and she automatically she's gonna know to love me and appreciate my companionship." That's what it comes down to. That's why some of the black men are going to the different women. And it's not nagging. Well, you don't do this and you don't do that. You don't do this. He don't cook it. He don't do this. And then you all up in his ear or whatever. I mean, and there's some women that get up, drive some guys like that, and so it turns the guy off. And all kind of inner issues. So maybe because her dad wasn't in her life, maybe the first boyfriend. They got to deal with stuff like that. So I'm just saying, this is some of the things that I've experienced dating women in the past. And you're trying to be an understandable man, the communication man, but it's it's that you don't fit the criteria. So that male that's had 3 or 4 baby mamas that act wild, that he's been locked up 3 or 4 times, that's the type of black man they're plenty out there. That he know how to get game off of you. You give it up, and you're gonna make him some eggs after you had to go rough sex, whatever. And you figure out rough sex makes a good relationship, and now you're disappointed because he just wants sex. He's a player. He's a dog. He see your girlfriend, he making out. But remember, this what kind of man you pick. But you see, he was an alpha aggressive male. I've seen males like that. I know someone men like that right now. But the lame guy, no. See, the lame guy, he wants to be. See, a lame brother, a lame black dude. Let me tell you this. He is too boring for the Cyn G's. He's too boring. In those women you see who complain about black men, they wouldn't, because they're not gonna give a part of themselves. They don't know how to give a part of themselves. And they think that they're gonna grow old and they're gonna be gripe and complain about men and making videos about men. And the thing about it is, for women who do that, just as bad as for the men who over men complain about stuff like that, who got their panties up in a bunch. If you don't know how to sacrifice and know how to love and sacrifice and understand, have a regular relationship, you're going to keep going from person to person to person to person to person. And it's really, technically, it's not normal. Because being around too many people can drain you mentally. Dating a lot of people can drain you physically and mentally. Some people don't see it that way. And it's miserable. And you're miserable because the people you do find attractive, that do got the money, if you just would have waited and let God work on yourself not your analogy, and work on who you are, he'll bring you that man. If you're a black woman, and if you're a black man, he'll bring you that black woman. But if you're all about yourself and all about being a player and about macking women, macking this and macking that, you will never. No, you're not gonna get the best of the best. You're gonna get a bunch of heart insecure people who making money. Yeah, they make good money. They might be educated, but they don't have what they don't have. They don't know how to. They don't utilize love and sacrifice to form a relationship, because it's not good that you jump in. In the end, the maturity, everybody wants somebody that's going to love them till death do you part. You want that wife or that husband to be till death do you part. You don't want a bunch of people that don't care nothing about you, or they want to take something from you. They want to use you for your sex. They want to use you because you got your resources. That's what it is. That's what some of those people are doing. That's what it's dating games or coaching and dating and stuff like that. Now, settle down with one person, because it can cost you. It can cost you mentally and physically and financially. And now, and then what happened is, and then these same women that get online and complain is because they didn't take time to learn from from previous mistake, examine yourself, understand yourself, and the right black man to come. And then when you get the right black man to come in your life, God will show you how to keep that black man. Not no dating coach, not no female, not no male, the Most High Himself. And if you get some type of spiritual life, you won't have that problem, because He is the one He's the architect of men and women, and He knows where men needs improved, and He knows what the women need improved. That's all. All these people trying to be coaches and how to play this game or how to manipulate, get a woman, all this stuff like that. No, God, the Most High, will design your relationship. He will bring you the woman, bringing you the person that you need. But you got to take a little bit off yourself, because if you ask any married couple, who've been married for 20, 30 years, who's been through the ringer, who's went through hell and high water, and they probably got on each other's nerves and everything. But in the end, they know each other. One, it's good to be with one person. And one, look where you are in times like right now. So you don't want to be dating a lot of people, because remember, it was sexual diseases. Now you got to worry about someone having the coronavirus. So you can meet many different people and probably pick up something floating in their atmosphere. Two, if you lay down with them, you can get it that way and also get some other disease. So it's good. That's why I said 3. Mentally, when you've been with so many partners, that takes something out of you, and it gets discouraging, because now excuse me, it takes a lot out of you. So it will just be wise to have one person, and be thankful as that. And so the reason why these women who are online complaining or bitching about men, because they're not happy in their life. And you see, someone might be halfway attractive, but it's just their attitude. It's their way of looking at life. Yeah, you got a career. Yeah, maybe you're smart, but you need. But maybe if you get around some woman that's in God, in the Lord, they will teach you how to be a wife. Maybe they teach you how to be a woman, because sometimes God will use another woman to show you how to be a woman. And you take off your self-pride, your self-ego, you won't have that problem. So to get back to why some black men that they don't want to deal with that ego. Just like any other man, I don't care if it's a white man, I don't care if it's an Arabic man. I don't care if it's a no man don't want to deal with no one with no ego. That's saying that I ain't gonna do this and I ain't gonna do that, and then kind of disrespect you if you have children. And that was what my white friend went through. His wife disrespecting in front of the children. She belittled him. He got tired. He dealt with that for 18 years with that. And he stood up to her to times. But she went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But she wasn't really, really wanting to be that wife. She trying to be his mother and disrespecting and overrule when it comes to the parenthood. And then you got to deal with women like that. Now they're too alpha. It's like here the man's trying to take a position as a father. Then you got women that's too damn alpha. So that's one of the reasons why. And you got some women, not just black women, but there's other women that got that alpha and they don't know how to take it down and let the man do what he got to do. When God required him to step in their role to be the man. And I've seen men do it, trying to guide and discipline their kids. She did what he did and disrespecting in front of her own kids. And he just got just little issues like that. You got some women don't want to, okay, that man's out there working 50, 60 hours and she don't want to cook. She don't want to clean the house. She want to give a part of herself. As far as certain things, they don't want to share certain things. Just little stuff like that. So the reason why, and it's the same way with men who have wealth, they can't find somebody that can give that, love them, whether they're on good times, if they're sick, whether they're having a bad day. When you got a woman that is there, yeah, you're going to get on each other's nerves, but she's still going to respect you as the man. And if that man, if it's vice versa, he still will love you, honor you as the woman. But the reason why you see someone like, is because she's not wife material. She's too opinionated, and she's a nice looking woman, but it's just certain quality. One thing is that you have to change certain personality traits. And one thing, the mouth, because that's the truth. And even if she met a guy that was successful, man, that was a black man, made good money. To be honest with you, she had to take a look at herself and say, as a woman, what do I need to learn? And some black women, don't get me wrong, are beautiful, pretty. They can't understand that how some women, and that even though they raised in other cultures, they automatically know the femininity. They know when to back down. They know when they see a good man, and some women they can say, "Man, it's a good man," and no matter what, regardless of what his height, weight look like, what his income is, some women know how to spot a good man and appreciate what they got. And so you have women here like that don't appreciate what they have. They're too spoiled. And and it's nothing wrong because women are educated all over the world. That's not it. But you get too high taught, you're high minded. You're too high minded. This is the truth. And then you got a bunch of bitter women complaining. Complain about looking at other men's judging celebrities and different individuals. Maybe you can have that, man. Well, first of all, the only way to change a hard, stubborn woman It ain't gonna take no coaches. It ain't gonna it takes the Most High to break that spirit, cause that's that Jezebel spirit. I gotta dominate and manipulate and control you, and try to psychically wear you down as a man. And there's some women that do that, manipulate men like that. That mess a man's mind up. And it's like, and the men don't know how they can't break loose of it. It's that woman. Sometimes she gotta do her part to kind of close the mouth. Be happy with what you got. Be happy that, and with these women at the plane, be happy that the man's faithful. If you get a black man, be happy that he's faithful. Be glad if he's able to get his behind up out of and got a job. Don't matter if he's working at Amazon or he's the executive or if he's the doggone man, a laborer. Be happy that you got one that get up and do what he's supposed to do. Maybe he's not at school right away, but if he get up and get off his butt and go to work, be happy about that. If he's able to somehow make strides, and be happy about that. You know, and say, but you got these westernized mentality women, and that's why some guys go that too spoiled. And it's like, you know, and they live in this fantasy, and some guy gonna come and whisk them away, and they can just do what they want to do, have a certain attitude, don't give any part of themselves, and they would say they would give part of themselves, but they wouldn't give the part of themselves because they would give him a certain attitude after a while. They have the same kind of attitude with the dude that don't have anything, because why they feel like we women, okay, but there's other women out there that have common sense, and so they get too haughty, high-minded. It's like, okay, we know that you're pretty, but why are you still single? We know that you're attractive, why are you still single? Why you can't keep a man? Why is that black man got going? Because maybe that woman that he's picking know how to be a wife. Maybe know how to submit her mouth. Maybe take a realistic in life and say, whether he have a college degree or whether he have a trade, at least we going somewhere. But it's the same thing. But I want to make this video about that. I'm sorry to make this so long. But the reason why is that some women like this that can't get them, that keep complaining about men, is because it's them. It comes down to it's them. I see, you know, especially and sometimes I know there's other women, but mostly black women cry about that. It's because they have a strong persona. You gotta be strong. You gotta be this. You don't take no shit. Don't do this. Don't do that. And I understand. You ain't gotta take no stuff. But sometimes you gotta learn to bring it down a little bit in order to get the man that you want. And I've heard other women try to tell the women that, and they get offended. Sorry for the coughing, but this is the truth. So that's why black men, it's not that a good percentage of us don't. It's just like, damn, you don't appreciate the man you got. And this is what men is, and these women, when they go over there, like, what's wrong with the women over there in America? They don't appreciate. They don't know how to be that wifey and give themselves. They don't want to give that wifey. You got women that's just entitled. That's the truth. But the reason why. And that's what it is. You're looking for somebody that like you as the male, whether you're 300 pounds to 130 pounds, that they like you. Whether you wear glasses and look geeky or whether you whatever, they appreciate the man, and that's why maybe That's why that black man go to meet the fat Becky or whatever. Because maybe she know how to be a woman. Maybe she know how to be a wife. I'm just saying. You ever thought about that? And so that's what he feel like he could settle. And I would say I would just be happy for that person because it's hard to find somebody. If you find somebody in this life, just to find somebody, that you can tolerate them and they can tolerate you. You good to go. But the reason why some people don't have anybody because they something to deal with. And you see a lot of attractive people online, and you wonder why they're single because they're too much of themselves. They're way too much of themselves. They don't know how to bring it down. They don't know how to humble themselves. Sometimes you gotta humble yourself to bring it down. You have to live life. You have to kind of mature out of your ways. And I've been immature in my ways. And I'm just not telling you something that I have been through. But I've been around somebody for 10 years. And why is that? Because I have to work on myself. I had to work on myself. And then I had to my way of changing thinking. And sometimes some people, they have to stay alone for a while until they grow up. So they learn to grow up and give in. If you don't have a giving heart and don't have a sacrificial heart, you're not gonna find nobody. You're gonna be going the same thing in the next 5 years. But if someone come across your path, be glad. They might not fit the type, but the character of the person matters. The loyalty matters. The humbleness matters. That's what I figure with both sexes, male and female. Humbleness, loyalty, commitment brings integrity. That's what you want. And that could be in somebody who is average to attractive. Because the character what makes the person. It's not the looks. You have a lot of good looking people, but they don't have no character, they have no integrity, and it's all about themselves. And yeah, they may have money, they may have flash things, but they don't have integrity. That's why they can't keep nobody. That's why they're able to have money, but they bounce from one relationship after the other relationship. And they picking up all these people. And then when you lay down with all these different people, you picking up their spirits. They depressing you, dragging you down, and they changing your being. Think about it. But I didn't mean to rattle on this long, ladies and gentlemen. But I just want to get back to. That's the reason why some people marry and date other different races of people. Because it's not. There's some people, if they out for that reason, or because a white woman is better, you sadly mistaken. Or that woman is better, you sadly mistaken. You need to go with somebody because of character. And are they committed to one another? Are they committed and have good character flaws? If they ain't got good character flaws, then shit. It ain't worth the crap. But anyway, till next time, y'all take care. Hey, excuse me for my time, but I just wanted to make my point out and make a video to point these avenues out. So that's why when you see all these people complaining about stuff like that, it's because they're not happy with themselves. And it's like, if you're happy with yourself, why are you picking at someone else's relationship? Whether they failure or they success. Why is that? Why is a celebrity? Some celebrity got a good looking female. I mean, why he has another man? When it just don't make no sense. And if a black female find a white male attractive and is successful, why would I be upset? Why would I be jealous? Why would I make videos about that? What's the point? When it was already in that person. This is what some people who made these videos, it was already in them. They were going to marry, or they made a decision, this is going to be my spouse. So, you know, I just think it's hilarious when you see people doing that. It's kind of ridiculous. It really is. And I just want to I want to show a couple examples about that. But she was one of the ones that I see as one particular person making videos all the time about it. Like, what? I'm like, okay, you know. And you see, it's called Cyn G. And you see, go to her page, you see nothing but that. It's like, dang. It's crazy. Well, anyway, till next time, you guys take care.